Hi, this is Kylie Coo. Thanks for joining me in my studio today. So, a few days ago, I did a page in this junk journal that I've now moved on into an art journal. And this is the page. So, when I started to create this, I had no thought at all for what I was going to create. It was just going to be very kind of organic in terms of its development, and I was just going to work intuitively, just kind of go with the flow. And it's a way that I really enjoy creating. So a lot of it was collage, and then some chalk pastels, and then this being here started to come out. And at a point through the process, I suddenly realised that this was taking me back to a project that I did last year. Now, I mentioned this in my video, and thanks to everyone that left positive comments on this. I really do appreciate that. And of course, if you've not seen this, I will leave a link to it above, below, and in all those places. But it took me back to a project I was working on last year, and a few of you have said that you would like to see that. So I want to tell you a little bit today about that project, but also to say a little bit about taking on challenges. There's some good things and some bad things. So let me get into this. So I've done a few challenges before where you work on something over a number of days. Last year, I decided I would do the 100-day challenge. Now, it's a challenge that's run really through Instagram, although you will sometimes see things on Facebook about it. You know, people will show what they've done. So, I should tell you that I didn't complete this project. I started it on, just want to check, the 7th of April 2020, and I did 51 days. So the last page I put up on Instagram was the 27th of May 2020. So before I go on to say a little bit about the kind of good and bad of challenges like this, I just want to tell you a little bit about what sat behind my project. This was intended to be what I would call an artist book. Now, for me, an artist book differs a bit from a journal in that it has a kind of what I might call a theme that goes all the way through it. So, for example, I have a garden journal, and I go back and forward to that over years and years and years, and I'll do a bit of written journaling in it sometimes. This is slightly different in that it's more building, for me, building a series of work around something. So I knew kind of roughly how I wanted to construct it, where I wanted to go with it. But again, I wanted to work very intuitively in this journal. It's very rustic in its construction, and that was partly because I wanted to simply add pages to it as I went along. So this, what is now kind of the cover, was actually the first page. And all I did was I started to hold it together with this piece of bookbinding fabric, and I thought if I have that incorporated into the front, then that will make it easier to kind of keep it all together once it's completed. I discovered pretty quickly that I had to put in a couple of pages at a time, because otherwise I would have been sticking things over the front pages. But basically it's held together with a mixture of fabric, and also, forgetting the name, give me a second, painter's tape, a masking tape basically. So you'll see when I do the flip through of this, where you'll see that I've used kind of different things, but I've also tried to disguise it as we go through. So this project was intended to be very organic. I kept it to a few materials. The pages are made from pieces of recycled packaging, brown paper, deli paper, really a whole load of just kind of recyclable materials and little tiny scraps of fabric that I used throughout it. You'll see here, there's the binding on the back. So it was kind of difficult to keep this going and keep it straight, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing it. However, the other thing I did was I wanted to use found words. So I had pulled a few pages out of books, and all I did when I was creating a piece was I went to my pages and just looked to see if there was any words jumped out at me. Now, sometimes it would be kind of part of a sentence, other times it'd be 2 or 3 words dotted over the pages. So when I come to show you this, you'll see that that's the way that it's worked. Really enjoyed doing this, but here's the thing about challenges. They can either motivate you or in some ways demotivate you. And I know there's a lot of people starting challenges off just now. I've just started another one, 29 faces. I'm showing it on Instagram, showing it on my Facebook page. And, you know, if I get it done, I'll do a flip through of it on my channel here. But I think I did this at quite near the start of our first lockdown. And for me, that became a very motivating factor to sit down every day to create. And I create, I won't say I create every day because life sometimes just gets in the way of that. But I try and do something creative most days, even if it's just trying to get inspiration for something. So this for me felt like a way to sit down every day to be creative. And I even set an alarm on my phone. Some days I would do it before the alarm went off. Sometimes it was an hour or so later, but I did do that. And I really felt that at that time, that's what I needed to keep me going. So it really is a good motivator, and there's lots of people succeed in these challenges. I got to day 51 and then I thought I need a break from this. So I took a day off. The day after that, I thought, no, I'm still not ready to go back to it. I don't know why it was. I do kind of know why it was. It just got to the point where it felt so routine that I don't know. I started to resist it, I guess. Started to resist doing it. But the other driving factor in stopping me from going on was because this was very organic, because I was trying to do it intuitively, I got to the point where I thought, is it starting to become too contrived? And that was my main reason for stopping. I just felt that I'm going to be creating pages to fit in here, to show now, for the sake of it, rather than because it was what was coming to me. And I felt there was a story starting to come out of this book for me. I see that in a lot of my art. There are things come through sometimes that make me stop and think. And I think sometimes, you know, whether it's a page telling me the story, whether it's someone else coming through telling me the story, or whether it's my subconscious trying to tell a story, you know, I'm open to all of that. So I got to the point where I thought this is going to become too contrived, and that really defeats the purpose of what this is for me, what this is about for me. So all of that said, I decided then to put it to the side, knowing that I might revisit it someday. And every so often I take it out, I have a little flick through it, but not for a little while. And then suddenly, the other day, I was working on that page and I just thought now might be the time to go back to it. So I decided whether during this next 100-day challenge, if I would do the remaining 49 pages. And I thought about that long and hard, but I've decided I'm not, because the problem is it might start to become too contrived again. And I would rather let the story in here unfold, whether that's over weeks, months, or even another year or so. I don't mind. So I will be coming back to visit this from time to time, but I'll do it at the time that feels right for me. So I hope that all makes sense. If you're starting a challenge just now, I wish you all the very best with it. Like I say, many people succeed with those challenges. I think the main thing is, if you stop it partway through, you have not failed. You know, it's not a competition. You have to do what feels right for you at any given point in time. So that would be my advice. And you can always go back and pick it up again. So did I fail? I don't think so, because this is what was right for me at that point in time for this piece of work that I'm creating. So good luck if you do decide to do a challenge, and I hope to see it on Instagram, on Facebook or whatever. Let me know if you are doing anything. Meantime, I'm going to do a flip through of this. So that's the 51 days of my 100-day project during 2020. It's interesting for me sitting, looking back over it. I think some of the things perhaps related to the time still relate to this time. And yes, I will go back to it as and when I feel inclined to do so. Symbology is a great thing in art. I think we all have our personal symbols, sometimes coming back to things. And I can see that throughout this book. Things that I don't always understand, but nevertheless, they're there. And the found words for me was really interesting. The book, it feels good to touch. It's very textured. At some point, I'll need to think about whether I'm going to seal some of the pages. You can see the chalk dust coming off it. But you know, if I never did another page in this book again, I'd actually be okay with that. It's okay to leave things unfinished or to wait for the time when it's right to finish it. So I hope you've enjoyed this flip through. My advice, of course, just comes from the things that I've done. And as I say, you know, if you do embark on a big challenge like the 100-day project or even one over a month, then do it because you want to do it. Don't feel it's a competition. It's all about you. So, yeah. So take care, everybody. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background. Birds are going about, so hopefully you can hear them. It's lovely to sit and hear that. So, as always, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.